Hi, and welcome to the Love Fest, Doing Business with Love. And today I am so blessed and happy to introduce Coach Moose. Woo! He is awesome, and he's got a special piece in my heart. So, and I just informed him that I have dedicated my book, the Wealthy Reader Guidebook, to him, but I'm going to just read it out so that you know what it is, okay? Coach Moose, author and creator of the Whole Life Fitness Manifesto, an online community that I'm proud to be a part of, brings fun and function to fitness all over the globe. His passion for health and wellness in 30 minutes a day, that's only 2% people, is contagious. You have motivated me to become a better, smaller, and healthier me. Your dedication and awesomeness knock it out of the park, and I would climb mountains with you. Oh, wait, we did. We went to the Gross Grind. Thanks for encouraging, inspiring, and making fitness fun again. Being a part of the tribe means more than you'll ever know or that I can express. And I would have never made it up the Gross Grind without you and Christy's positive words of encouragement. It was a huge moment for me, really was. That was October 2014. And it meant that I could move mountains in life because I accomplished that much. And your dedication to fitness and your mind and spirit, because of the mindfulness, we'll get into that, will continue and has already helped so many people. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here with me today. And seriously, it just means so much. Every time I read that, I almost want to cry.
You made me want to cry. I mean, I'm incredibly honored and very thankful for this opportunity, but also honored that you would mention me in your book. I mean, that's incredible. Thank you. And I don't take that lightly. So I'm excited to have a talk with you today. This is going to be a lot of fun.
I'm excited too. First off, actually, I just want to show a couple of pictures. So I'm just going to share my screen. So it's just going to take a second. Hold on. Where the heck is it? Oh, no. Oh, share screen. Here it is. Okay. Desktop. Is it sharing? No.
I don't see it yet.
Oh, here. Sorry. There it is. So there's Di and I when October, when we climbed the mountain. That's at the top of the Gross Grind. And then I wanted to show you this because we met at a networking event, right? So we've met at a couple of different networking events here in Vancouver, BC. But he met me when I was about at the middle stage. But that was before. And then now that's me in January of 2018. And it's been a long journey. I've lost over 60 pounds, and you've been with your tribe, with your support, with everything that I've gone through over these years. You don't know how much those daily emails, just to have the daily emails that come in to keep you motivated. You hey man, I better get moving.
Well, that's the hope, right? That's the hope.
Yeah, it is.
And I mean, to commend to you though, just so you know, I mean, I open a door, but you choose to walk through it, and you continue to open new doors for yourself, and you continue to go through them. So I like to just think I've played a small, little, tiny role in just helping you figure out which door to go through first. And then after that, there's a room full of doors, and you're trailblazing your own journey. So it's nice to be a witness to that. So you don't count yourself short. You did all the work.
Well, I do get up and move. That is the truth.
You do it all. I'm just there as a little spark to get you going, but you keep yourself going.
Yes. Okay. So I just want to ask a few questions here. How do you infuse love into your business?
Well, that's a great question, and it's one that I think could take many interviews to answer. But I think if I had to get just to the nut of it all, is the fact that, we're very much in alignment with our pillars, our core values. And of our core values, there's fitness, faith, finances, and family. With an overarching roof of fun, but it's all about building on a foundation of health first, because we know that without health, it's really hard to be the best version of you and to constantly grow into that potential best version of you, right? It's that ongoing journey. And if you don't have the self-love, first and foremost, it's really hard to be able to give that energy to others as well. And so we focus a lot on the self-care aspects and really getting to that understanding of, well, what is it that drives you? What is it that motivates you every morning when you wake up, and where does the passion come from? And
where does it come from?
and I mean, I didn't come from a place of self-love when I started on my journey to bettering myself physically, mentally, and emotionally. And I was morbidly obese as a teenager, and I had a lot of very low self-opinion, depression and the typical stigmas that are attached to someone in that state of unhealth. I was living them, and it wasn't a pleasant place to be. You can imagine from the age of 9 to 14, that was sort of when I was my largest at 14. And it was traumatic at best. But I made some realizations that were self-realizations that the only way that things were going to change was I'd have to change them, really, that's what it was. And, so in going through that process, I started to learn what I did love about myself, what I did enjoy. And what I realized very quickly, over the last couple of decades of serving people is I love to serve people, I do love to serve people. So any opportunity to serve someone and to help them facilitate transformation in their lives, that gets me excited. It gets my wife excited. It gets our family excited. And, when you're excited and you feel in alignment with what you're doing, you don't have to think about it. You just do it. And so that's sort of the short answer. I could go on and on though.
Yeah. Well, by doing what you love, you never have to work a day in your life, right?
You got it.
Yeah. So, there you go. And just like, even I'm going to say, like, I was not in the best of health when we went and did that gross grind. I was overcoming an injury. I had hurt my hip. At that time I couldn't even wear like high heeled shoes or anything like that. Like, it was tough. Right. And Christy was there and she's all like, you can do it. It's not that tough. It was the first time I ever did it. She goes, you can make it. It doesn't matter how long. It doesn't matter. She was there encouraging me. And I remember having a conversation. I just love how you say, oh, I'm dating my wife and best friend. Like, that's awesome, right? Like, I just like love you guys so much, right? But anyways, so, and my next question was really, how do you stay so motivated? But I think you kind of answered that because you're passionate about serving people and getting your message out to the world.
Yeah, and hey, I'll be the first to admit that there's days where I'm not feeling so motivated, or where I do have a lot of negative thoughts that tend to creep in. Like, we all have those days, right? And it's usually on days where we've neglected ourselves, the things that matter.
Isn't that true?
But it's funny, right? Like, we get so involved in our businesses as entrepreneurs, as we know. There's that shiny light syndrome where we see some new opportunity and all of a sudden we want to go full bore, and we'll often neglect some of the self-care habits or behaviors that we know allow us the space to continue to really go forward in the direction that we most want to go, with health in mind, with energy in mind, at least in the positive nature, and be in alignment. And what happens is when we're out of alignment, that's where we open up those doorways or windows for all those the habits that we know don't bring us closer to our goals in life.
That's the truth. You got to expand, and to expand, you got to do new things, right? So actually, here's a tip. I don't know if you've ever seen this before, but I have something that I do, and I have it's in a frame, like a glass frame, and this is my daily and my morning routine. So then I just cross off everything. I have 111 crunches and a 1-minute plank, and I do my run, apple cider vinegar, and whatever else I want to do, right? So
I love it. And that's habits, and habits that are reinforced eventually become behaviors. And if you really adapt that behavioral change, it does become a lifestyle because it fuels you,
It does. And here's the thing, like, when I first started, honestly, so I remember we were at a networking event. I think, I can't remember, I think we were at the
Matt's event.
Entrepreneurs, I think it was Matt's thing. Yeah, and he asked me, like, how often do you work out? And at that time, I was, like, going to the gym on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday with my mom. I was going. And the two of us would go for, like, an hour and a half. And he looked at me and went, that's too much. You should try my whole life fitness manifesto. And I thought you were a little bit bonkers because it was like 15 minutes a day. What's that going to do, right? But these workouts of the day, they do get you sweaty, and they do add actual functionality to your life. Mm-hmm. They strengthen you so that you can be strong and grow healthy later on in life, right? Mm. So I had something that happened. I had a broken water main, and I had to dig out some stuff. And I I was like, oh no, it works, but I didn't feel sore afterwards or anything like that, because the exercises that we do actually move those muscles the way we need to move them.
You'll actually appreciate this. So, I had my reader survey, or my tribe survey that went out. Yes. I typically do it at the end and beginning of every new year. And so some of I want to know, what are some of the goals people have for themselves as they venture into the new year? Mm-hmm. And I'm not a big believer in resolutions. I prefer finding solutions that support mm-hmm. the lifestyles and the lifestyle goals or ambitions that we have. And what I found was really interesting. This year was the first year of doing my survey for, 7-8 years now, that I saw the number one answer or goal for the new year change. And typically people want to release weight. They do. They want to release their weight. They want to get a little healthier. But the goal that was most responded, the number one response was, I want to age well.
Well, we're all getting older, Di.
Yeah, well, we are, but you have to realize I have readers like in their teens all the way up into their 70s, and I have a great cross section. Obviously, the bulk is 20s to 50, but there's people now realizing that functionality is more important than just simply looking good, because looking good, there's a vanity piece to that, and it's the piece that I dislike most of fitness. I speak openly about this because it's a very much we quantify things so easily nowadays, right? We're all about quantification and how many reps, how much time, how lean, what's the number got to be on the scale? What should my waist circumference be? And I'm like, well, what does that mean? What does all that mean?
It really means nothing. But you know what really makes me happy is that I can move and I'm pain-free.
Exactly. But realize in doing that and doing the work to be able to age well as we age, every decade we feel good. We have reduced pain, we have reduced inflammation, we have great range of motions. We feel empowered to do the things that we want to do in life and not have any repercussions that may sneak up and bite us if we don't maintain that foundation of health. But the coolest thing is as we just walk that path, inevitably our bodies do transform. They do. We improve our fitness. So you do get improved physicality, but it shouldn't be the motivation.
No. And here's the thing, I have gotten from an extra large to a medium, let's say, right? Every year I lose about 20 pounds. It seems for the last 3 years, I've lost about 20 pounds every year. So I'm getting smaller and smaller. But it's not been
And you released it. Just quick. You released those pounds.
I released it. I know. I do say that all the time. But when I was just there, I just slipped. But I know you don't want to find it again, so you want to release it.
That's right. Let it go. Just let it go.
Just let it go. Just let it go. That's awesome. And the point that I did want to bring up too is that when you do something every day, it does become habit. Mm-hmm. It does become habit, and your body's going to want to move. It craves it. So if you just start, right, and you just start doing movement, intentional movement, like you say, intentional movement every day, then you're going to want to do it again. So when I first started running again, I would go to bed at night and I was like, oh, I can't wait to wake up in the morning and go for a run. Weird, right? But anyways.
A body at rest likes to stay at rest, and a body in motion likes to stay in motion, but it takes a little bit of inertia to get it going. And I always tell people it's that first squat off the couch is actually the hardest thing. Everyone says, well, it's the first step of any journey that's the most difficult. I'm like, well, actually, when you talk fitness, it's just getting your butt off the couch, you know, like it's what you're getting up. And once you're up, it's just taking steps, a little bit of steps every day, you know, but it will fuel your body and your mind and your spirit. And that's what people tend to realize after they've committed to it and they've been through a week or two. All of a sudden it's this energy that just like, where'd that come from? And you'll see your business improve. You'll see your lifestyle improve. Like it just, there's such a tight connection. And I can't speak to that more passionately.
Yes, there totally is. Like, there so is, my mind is clearer just like by healthier eating and doing a better choice most of the time. It's just those little tiny steps, right? It's just
absolutely
tiny improvements. It's just I just start with where you are and go from there and just try to do a little bit better. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. That's right.
Because when I first started my fitness journey, I could barely walk around the block.
Yeah.
And then now I'm running 10K, no problem.
It's like, wow. Yeah. It's wow, right? Like, and it seems like some of my clients that have released pounds, like we have a number of programs, obviously, that we run. And I have some personal clients that I work one-on-one and very custom programs for them.
Yeah.
Fitness, nutrition, and life coaching. And, you know, what I find with some of these people is, you know, after say 3 to 6 months of working together, they get to a point where, you know, we all get to this point, both in our businesses and our personal lives, where we just say, I just don't feel like I'm moving enough, or I don't feel like I'm growing enough, or I'm performing enough, or I don't feel business and life is getting there. Like I'm not getting the results I'm looking for. And I'm like, listen, let's pump the brakes here for a second. Let's just stop and let's just look back for a second. Let's just look at where you've come from, right? Like, look at what you've done in 6 months. Like 6 months, you've been alive. Like I've got clients in their 60s, right? And I'm like, okay, what is 6 months out of your entire lifespan? It's nothing. It's a blink of an eye. And I'm like, look at how much you've accomplished in 6 months.
Yeah.
How long in the past did it take you to accomplish as much as you've done in the last 6 months? And they'll be like, oh man, it took me 20 years. Yeah. And I'm like, my point exactly. So, you know, and even sometimes I'll say, well, I want you to go to the gym today. You've released 20 pounds in the last 6 months. You're going to grab a 20-pound med ball or a 20-pound dumbbell. And I want you to walk on the treadmill for 10 minutes, holding them.
OMG. Yeah.
Think about that. And then all of a sudden they're like, that was so hard. I'm like, yeah, but that was the weight you were carrying 6 months ago on your body, you know, like, because we lose perspective over time. We just do, because we get so focused on now, which is good. You want to be focused on the now, as Eckhart Tolle tells us, right? Like there's power in that. Yes. But we also have to appreciate how far we've come and celebrate the milestones that we've passed.
Yeah, reward.
It happened. We have to enjoy that, you know. Don't cry because it's over. Cry, you know, like sorry, smile because it happened, right? Like Dr. Seuss, his wisdom is just profound, and it's a children's story. You know, we can learn from those. So, anyways, I could go on and on.
I know. Well, you know, this is funny because I love potatoes. I'm like a big potato person. I don't know how you feel about potatoes, but I love potatoes.
I love potatoes. Nothing wrong with potatoes.
And I buy them by the 50-pound bag, and I've lost that, and I have to bring it from my car to like wherever I got to bring it, and I'm all like, oh my God, I used to have this, and then 10 pounds.
Yes.
Try it out, man.
Oh my gosh. And just think about the inflammation on your body and the stress that was on your joints. Like it just, you look at everything, and I really feel for people that are in that state, but I get it. I know how it feels. I've been there.
I know. I got it too.
Yeah. So but that's great. That's a good reminder for you.
Yeah, wow. It is. Like, I mean, I'm like, holy, and I'm never going back there. I was like, just because I feel healthier and I feel like I'm glowing from inside. Okay. So question. Okay.
Yes.
Question time. How has following your intuition helped your business?
Well, as you know, there's been some transitions for me over the years.
There has been.
A lot of them. I'm actually talking to you from Bali right now.
I know. And with the whole family too.
Yeah. Family is one of our pillars. And you know, when you start talking about pillars, I believe everybody needs pillars in their lives or things that they really stand for. And you gotta, you know, I like to use analogies because I find it's the easiest way to teach, but also to explain. And so if you envision your life as a home, imagine homes. They have a foundation, they have 4 walls, and they typically have a roof. So if you look at your life like a home and you are the architect of your home, You determine the materials that go into making it. You determine how many floors. You determine how you decorate it. Like, you are not only the general contractor and the creator, but you're also the owner of this building, right? This life of yours that you've been given. And so our foundation is on health. And then we have 4 walls: fitness, faith, family, and finances. And then we have an overarching roof of fun. So we recognize that sometimes these pillars or these walls become weakened. And when they become weakened, we fall out of alignment. Mm-hmm. And so when we fall out of alignment, then we know, we got to focus more on this area, to help with the integrity of the structure, so we can weather the storms when they come. So we can improve on the materials that it's being made, but we'll also reinforce, again, always that foundation, because we know without that foundation of health, it doesn't matter what you build. It's not earthquake protected. It's not hurricane protected. Like, you just don't know. And so over the years, as we become more clear on what our pillars are, we've then start to put in motion certain actions and choices to really reinforce those walls. And what we recognized was, in my past 17 years of working a corporate position, I was very disconnected with some of my pillars, in particular family. My daughters are 12 and 14 now, but in their early years, when I was so focused on my business, I missed out on a lot of great opportunities to see them do things for the first time. Mm-hmm. And so I made a commitment. My wife, she's a supporter in this because she has a passion to travel. And we were like, well, what's stopping us from creating a lifestyle that allows us to actually thrive in this home that we're building, this life that we're building, based on what's important to us,
I remember when you were like, we're giving away our TV. Who wants this? And let's go. They just
gave away everything.
Everything, and bought some plane tickets and went on a road trip. They were gone, right? And I think that some of the people watching may have that idea in their head for themselves and their kids. Yeah. And how have you found that transition for you and Christy and the girls? Because you guys have been all over the place
everywhere
in the last couple of years. And your home base is going to be Bali for this year. And I know you guys just recently got there. So
yeah. Well, we lived here 3 months last year. It was our first time going overseas. We spent the first year and a half really just traveling around North America, like the U.S.
Nice.
And we really enjoyed that. It was a lot of fun. I had some media trips, like to Spain, London, Paris, Tel Aviv, Jerusalem.
I remember you ran like a half marathon.
I did in Jerusalem.
Or something?
No, Jerusalem.
Jerusalem.
So it's the advantage of also I have a platform, obviously, and it's very fitness and lifestyle focused. So I get invited on media opportunities to participate in some pretty cool things. And I've had some little travel and a lot of media as well in North America as I work as a spokesperson for a number of companies. So that gives me some opportunity to travel, but not necessarily the family. So that's why when we restructured what we wanted to look at how can we do things as a family. And so we went overseas last year for 3 months in Bali. We loved it so much. We're like, you know what, we could come back here because we want to travel around Southeast Asia, Australia, New Zealand. And it's much easier to do that from Bali than it is from Vancouver. So
sure is. And Australia and New Zealand are so fun. They're both
my wife's been, I've never been, nor my kids. So we're really looking forward to that.
I went. I stayed for just over a year in Australia and New Zealand when I was a lot younger. But it was like it was really fun, really fun. And
I've heard.
So it's amazing. You guys will have a great time. And
to answer your question though, like the transition's obviously been challenging. There's always challenges, but we're okay with that. Because again, we're pursuing what we're most passionate about and what's most important in our lives. And so we've created some filters through which we pass things, and based on that as a family unit, it makes it much easier to make those commitments. But also realize for those that are thinking about this, and it's like, I'd like to create a lifestyle for myself and have a business that supports that lifestyle. So not only can we sustain it, but we can also thrive within it. Yeah. You have to start looking at what really matters. And a lot of us have a lot of extra expenses. We have a lot of extra things that draw at our attention and draw our resources. And you have to start looking at, well, what really matters most? And literally start dwindling away the things that don't truly matter.
Right.
And start looking at more ways to focus. And so when we actually downsized our lifestyle, we realized the amount of resources we required to continue doing that lifestyle, this lifestyle that we're living right now, it's not as difficult as some people would believe.
Right.
People create these massive chasms of things that they want versus where they are. But truth be told, there's often the chasms aren't that big of a gap. And it's just a matter of sitting down, and this is where coaching and mentorship comes into play, you know, and really connecting with the right people that have already done it. You'll realize that it's not that difficult. You just have to put a plan in motion, and it, trust me, it didn't happen overnight. We worked towards this plan for almost 2 years before we finally said, okay, now it's go time.
Yeah. I remember you kind of deciding and then saying and how you were doing everything. I remember it all. and I've seen all the pictures and I've seen all the things all you guys done. It's been amazing. It's an amazing journey you guys have been on. I'm just so happy for you guys. Like, I mean, and to be together as a family unit.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
More important than anything, right? Like, who wants to have somebody else take care of their kids, really? Like, I mean, and who wants to be away from, like you and Christy have a fantastic relationship. I mean, everyone has their things, but and why would you want to be away, right? She's there supporting you every step of the way, and you support her, and you guys are, it's just awesome. And it brings me hope for my own life that maybe one day I will allow in a fantastic person that is with me, right? That I can date my husband. Yeah.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And I'm calling it in this year for myself. I'm ready.
I love it.
Okay. So, okay. Why do you feel that fitness and health is so important for entrepreneurs? And we kind of touched base on this, but I'd like to go a little deeper on it because I have my own opinions. But
yeah, sure. And I think, and this is the thing, right? Is a lot of people, they know what they ought to be doing, but we often just don't do it. And you may have seen my question on Facebook last week where I posed that, you know, it's like, why is it that we know we ought to be doing something yet we just don't do it, you know? And it does come down to certain motivations, but it's also just being motivated from within, you know. It's a lot of us look for external motivations, but we have to realize it's the intrinsic ones that matter most, because it's what's going to keep us going. And fitness and health,
really big point right there is the external things. Like, we can all get motivated if we, let's say, watch Tony Robbins 24/7, but like you turn that off, who's going to get you to get moving after that, right? You need to have it within your heart to get moving, right?
And listen, I will be devil's advocate in that we do require some external motivations.
Oh, I'm down with that too. Yeah.
Well, because again, it's all feeding that muscle between the ears, right? It is a lot of mindset and mindset coaching and conditioning and really getting right to the point. Why are you doing the things that you do? Why do you choose to live life the way you're living? And if you're not happy, why do you continue to do the things that aren't bringing you happiness? And when you start to really look within and start to ask these big questions and reflect on these, you're going to find that you want support, you want a coach, you want a mentor, you want a community to plug into to help explore this new way of thinking. Because for some of us, it goes outside the grain, against the grain. It goes outside of our normal belief systems because it's just the way we've grown up, you know, and that's cool. That's great. As long as you're open to this possibility of looking at things a little bit differently and living life a little differently, you're open. And being open is a big deal because as soon as you're feeding the mind with some of these new ways of looking at things, you'll find that it might light something within you, you know? So initially I always say, it's funny, I might be the person that sets the spark of a fire under you. So I get you moving initially, but eventually that spark lights up within you, and that's what keeps you going, you know? So I might be the fire starter.
You're the fire starter. You're the
I am. I get it there, and sometimes I put some lighter fluid on there or whatever, and we get you going. I used to joke with some of my personal training clients, you know, it's like, well, how do I stay motivated? Well, I go, initially, that's why you're hiring me. I will keep you motivated. I will keep you accountable. I will help you stay the course, with the intention that eventually you're going to get to a point where it's not like I should, I would, I could. It's like I want to, I get to, and I'm excited to. And that is the shit that has to happen. And that takes time. It's a different time for everybody. But I always say my initial motivator for people is my size 12 feet. Because trust me, when they kick you in the butt, it gets you moving. They're great motivators, right? So just realize that some of us sometimes need to be kicked in the butt to just get started. And that's normal. That is us being human beings. I need it too. I work with coaches. I have a life coach. I have a business mentors. Like, I need coaching too. We all need it.
Everyone needs coaching. I
all
have.
need it. You don't have one right now. You got to go get one. Like, people, it's the biggest shift that happened in my life, for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like, honestly, that it is the biggest thing, because you have someone to accountability, right?
Yeah.
Accountability.
And also people that have gone places that you want to go. Well, why go try to figure it out on your own?
Yeah,
it's like, you've got the GPS.
Else. Get the faster route.
Well,
save yourself some money, right?
Exactly. I don't want to go and fumble my way through it. I want to just get there as fast as I can. So I look for people that are already doing things that I want to do, and I go and I learn, and I contract them. I hire them as my coach and teach me. It's like, we all need Yodas in our lives. Let's go for it. Right?
We got a little bit off topic, but I'm going to go even more off topic, because I know that you are a big reader. You're an avid reader. How important do you think feeding the mind through books and different books is?
It's critical. Like, my Power 30 ritual, which is really the foundational piece of the whole Life Fitness Manifesto. And it teaches people how to leverage 2% of every day. So 30 minutes every day, you have to invest in you. This is the minimum. People say, was that all I have to do? No. But this is the bare minimum that you deserve. Okay. If you truly want to practice self-love, this is what you're going to commit to doing every single day for the rest of your life. 15 minutes of movement with purpose, 5 minutes of mindful meditation. But, and this is to answer your question, it's also 10 minutes of personal development, concentrated personal development, not distracted by this, that, and the other thing that's going on in life. Literally, for 10 minutes, you feed your mind with something positive. Whether it be a podcast, whether it be a TED Talk, whether it be a stimulating conversation like you and I are having.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
Whatever, but it's something that stimulates that muscle between the ears, because it has to be reconditioned. Most people, like, you talk about being out of shape or being in poor health. Well, more people are dealing with poor health of the mind than they are the physical aspects. I see people in the gym. They're extremely fit people, but they are some of the most broken people I've ever met.
Oh, I know. Well, yes. I've dated some of those guys. Yeah,
fair enough. Like, I work with those people all the time. It's cool. Like, but don't worry. Like, once they come to me and they're open to, hey, I want to make some changes. Great.
Yes.
Amazing. They got fitness down. They got that down. But it's the other pieces of life they don't.
Yes. Yeah. We all have to work on the whole life.
Yeah.
Right? It's the whole life. You don't want just one piece being okay. You don't want to just be super fit or super healthy, or you don't want to just make a whole bunch of money, or you don't want to be just focused on your family and broke and fat. Like, I mean, you just it's like, no, you want everything to kind of be in balance and have those 4 pillars and have everything, and you want to have fun and feel good. So, I mean, you really embody all of that.
Reverse engineering. Really? Seriously, ask yourself, what's the kind of life that I want to be leading? Not when you're retired. Okay. Not when you're 80 years old. Like, it's great. You can think far ahead and ask yourself, what do I want to be doing when I'm 80 years old? Great. But if you're working now to generate as much wealth as possible to lead a certain life when you're older, you're going to end up spending a lot of those years actually spending the money that you've then worked so hard to create to regain the health, which you've basically neglected. And there's no old Chinese proverb that speaks to that, and so it's this idea of creating the lifestyle now that fuels you in all areas of your life, and realizing, well, what is really important? How do you make that a priority? How do you make that actually the focus? And it's not a matter of reinventing the wheel. Most people already have the wheels. They just have to rejig the car. They have to retune it. They have to reprogram the GPS to figure out the destination and the best road to travel. And it's not out of reach, but it does take a commitment and a choice to apply some action.
And it takes consistency.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you got to, I call it decide and do. You got to wake up one day and you got to decide, and then you got to go and do it.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's in bottom line, that's it. And like with manifestation and all of that, like, what is your ideal life? Like, what is it? And you can't be chasing a dollar. You've got to be living your purpose and your passion, because if, like, what happens? So let's just say somebody wants $1 million. What happens when you get there?
Yeah.
You're going to be like, okay, so now I'm there. I got $1 million, but now what? Now I'm not motivated to do anything else, right? Like, you need to have that heart and that passion. That's why I'm doing this series for people that have doing business with love.
Nice.
Getting back to the thing, I really, really firmly believe, like, so now I've started doing majority with the fitness for entrepreneurship, right? Like, I now wear a Fitbit, and it tells me to get up and walk every once in a while, like, and I do my steps and all of that stuff. And I drink over 2 liters of water a day, and I make sure that I do these things. And now when I do my Facebook Lives, I make sure I stand up. I try to stand up for a majority of them, because one thing that I want to touch base on is that sitting is so bad for us, and we tend to sit. Like, I know we're sitting today, but in interviews, it's weird. You can't do it like that. But when you're just doing a Facebook Live, so anyone that does Facebook Lives for their business, I want to challenge you to stand up while you're doing it. So just FYI, that a little bit of exercise as well. It's not exercise, but at least it's better, right? Because sitting, they say, is like the new smoking, right?
Yeah, I've got articles on my website all about this, and just tricks, hacks, ways that you can look at your life a little bit differently and get moving a bit more. But people should be aiming to get a minimum of 5,000 steps, but the golden standard is 10,000 steps, which is about 90 minutes to 120 minutes of walking a day. But if your lifestyle, most people can just get that in a day. It's not like you have to go out and set the intention of walking that all in one go. But until you know what is your habits like, how many steps do you get in a day, you can't really know what needs to change or what needs to be added in. And that's exactly right. And most smartphones now even have that built-in capability. Yeah. So even if you don't want to make the investment, I suggest buying a separate tracker. They're a bit more accurate, and they have a lot of great things. Like Fitbit's fantastic. It's one of the products that we recommend in our programs. And but it's, again, another level of accountability, right? To self. You got to be accountable to yourself first and foremost. You know,
my goal is 8,000 steps a day. And I'm going to tell you that for me is actually a challenge to do, because I work from home. I don't have to like drive anywhere. I don't got to walk anywhere. I don't got to take a bus. I just like whatever. And my office is like 10 feet away from my bed. It's like, you know, like I don't have a lot of steps to take in a day. So I do 5K, I do 5K runs, and I do a little bit of walking, and I got my 8,000, but it's like, for me to do 10,000 is tough. But I was happy to hear you say 5,000. I was like, yes.
That's the minimum, again, that we encourage people, but we want them to strive for 10. Like that is the goal, right? Like if you're moving 10,000 steps a day, to me, that's fitness, you know, like that's just general conditioning. And I find that people that do maintain 10,000 steps a day, they have a lot more leniency when it comes to just life in general, and a certain baseline of health. Like you'll see their baseline's higher than someone that doesn't move at all, you know, like it's just, and the science is there to prove all this. And I don't need to tell you, sit on your couch. I mean, look at our lifestyles. We wake up in the morning, we've been laying all night. We wake up, we sit down, we eat breakfast, we hop in a car, we drive to work, where we sit at a desk all day. We get up, we drive home, and now we sit down and we watch TV while we eat. And there's no movement, there's no activity, and our metabolisms are retarded because of that. You know, they're actually slowed, you know, and anywhere of like 10 to 15%. We're burning less calories because we're just not even moving. But if people keep eating as if they're burning all these calories, and then they wonder a year later, it's like, man, I gained 6 pounds this year of fat. Where did that come from? It's like, well, it just came because you don't move. You know?
Totally. So, well, sometimes I gotta say I do 19,000 or 20,000 steps, because I do a long run. But sometimes, and my minimum is 8,000. But sometimes I double. Perfect. Right. So, like,
and I think 8,000 is a great minimum. You know, that's fantastic. And because you are incorporating running, you're getting a lot of steps in on some days.
Yeah.
Look at overall over the week, how much steps are you getting? You're getting well above 10,000 average per day.
Well, I run over now 25 to 30 kilometers per week.
Yeah.
Minimum. Minimum.
Yeah.
Minimum, if not more.
Awesome.
100Ks a month is like easy peasy now.
Yeah. I love it. Well, that's great.
Okay.
Positive.
So, just to give us 1-2 tips to get started, to maybe motivate and inspire people to get started, and then we're going to wrap this up.
Sure.
Just a couple of tips.
Yeah, I think the easiest way for people, and it's why I wrote the Whole Life Fitness Manifesto, like my book, why I've put it together.
Yeah,
after
go
training,
get the book, you guys. It's like fantastic if you don't have it already.
Well, thank you. What I was going to say is, our free program, the Whole Life Fitness Manifesto, it's a 28-day challenge, basically, for people to just start to create a lifestyle that supports what they want. Like I always ask people, what do you want? And most people look at me like a deer in headlights. I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, this is a good starting point because we're going to help you figure that out. And I know for sure you're going to need a certain level of health. You're going to need a certain level of fitness, probably a certain level of finances and a certain level of faith. And you need purpose in life. And that's what I mean by faith, right? People go like,
the tribe. I love the tribe. I'm a part of the tribe. There's a Facebook community. You can join it. And you know what else I love about it is that you have the baselines all the time, right? So you can always look back and see it's the same baseline. So you can always look back and see, where was I? What was I doing? And Di always encourages you to take photos. I didn't have photos before I started this stuff, right? So now when I look at those photos that I showed all of you before, I am really, really proud of myself. And actually now I'm starting to get 6-pack abs. I know it's not the whole thing, but I'm starting. I can see if I look with magnifying glasses, I can.
Well, I'll tell you, they're there. Everybody's got 6-pack.
Yeah, everyone's got them.
Some people are insulated a little bit more.
I was like, no shit, they're there. Yeah. They're starting. They're like there. But anyways, yeah. But I can't say enough about the program, the Whole Life Fitness Manifesto Facebook group. And it's got really wonderful people that show their sweaty selfies and encourage each other to keep going. And Di always sends awesome email and, all of those things. So get started there. What else?
So joinwlfm.com is the easiest. Joinwlfm.com. And so you go there, you can sign up for free. The next phase starts in a couple of weeks, but we always have a phase going. So there's really no excuse.
Just sign up anytime.
The action though that people need to do is first and foremost to make a decision that they want to change. Like if you're thinking about it and you've been thinking about it and you're just not happy with where you're at and there's areas in your life that you want to improve, well, why put it off? I mean, obviously, Einstein always said, doing the same thing day in, day out and expecting different results. What is that? Well, it's insanity, and I see so many people could just get stuck in a rut in life because they're, it's funny. They say one thing and yet they do something completely different. Yeah. And yet they continue to do something completely different, constantly talking about this other thing that they want to achieve. And I'm like, there comes a point where you just got to say, okay, to get out of the rut, I got to make a shift. I got to change. I got to do something. And so all I wanted to say is if you're ready to do something and really do something, stop talking about it, then just do it. Like, my goodness. I'm sorry, but that's how it has to start. It has to start with a choice, and then you have to apply action to the choice. And you sort of said it earlier, make a choice and then you do. And it's very much that simple. But I would recommend that you
hard.
And I would say look for a coach, look for a mentor, look for someone that can help you in this process.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Hey, I'm happy to help, of course. And we have a number of different programs, and we want to make it very accessible to people. That's why I have free programs. I have group programs that are far less of an investment, but it's a group coaching model. Mm-hmm. And then we have one-on-one opportunities as well. So don't worry, we're flexible. I just want to help people get on the right track. So if you are ready to take action, then just choose you, realize that you're your most important asset and you have to treat it as such. And I see a lot of people that don't treat themselves with the love that they should, because I believe in them and I want them to believe in themselves as much as I believe in them, and so that is, I think, the hardest shift to make, because a lot of people just don't see themselves that way. I get it. I've had periods in my life I haven't. 8 years ago, I stopped drinking alcohol. I stopped using certain substances, which I was abusing. I made some significant shifts. I have a lot of things that I've had to grow through. And I'm fortunate that I have a wife that was very supportive, and she's got a tinge of ginger in her, and she is very, very quick to say, hey, you either make a change now or get ready, because here's the repercussions that you are
Yeah.
going to experience. And she's very right on that. And I share this, and I won't go off into any more tangents on that, but if you're interested in that backstory and sort of what I did to overcome some of my substances and really make some shifts and to change
has a fantastic blog with like everything under the sun on it. Like, you have so much content out there, Di.
It's a lot.
It's like, wow, right? Like, you can look up anything on his website. And speaking of that, how can we find you? I know you're everywhere. Sure. Right?
I am. Well, it's the advantage of having a unique name, right? So Dai is D-A-I, and that's a Welsh name for David. And Manuel is actually a Portuguese name. So I've got this Welsh-Portuguese combo, Dai Manuel, and it's Manuel with an E, so M-A-N-U-E-L. If you type that into Google, you will find me, because I own the first bajillion pages on Google if you spell my name right. But my blog is my main piece. I have a lot of content on there, over 1,300 articles that will help inspire, educate, and motivate you, as well as encourage you to make some shifts and give you the resources that you need to continuously make the shift. And other than that, I'm on every social platform just by my name. So I'm really easy to find. And so, you know, Army of One here. Well, actually, Army of Two. It's me and my wife. And we run and coach our programs together. We're certified trainers, certified nutrition coaches, as well as certified life coaches. So we look at a holistic approach to working with people. And it's very unique. I don't see a lot of people with that sort of a background or a combination, but that's how come we're able to facilitate the massive shifts that we can for people. So reach out. You have a question? I know I have a way that I can help you. So just reach out. That's all I want to say.
Yeah. And that sums it up. And that is definitely doing business with love. That's for sure. Woo! So I want to thank you so much. It was just awesome. And thank you so much for watching us. And just be sure to check out Di and follow, join the Whole Life Fitness Manifesto. It's awesome. You'll totally thank me later.
And come visit me in Bali. Come.
Yeah, and I'm going to go and see you in Bali. For sure. Okay, bye everyone. Thank you.